Episode 2.
Welcome to the Beacon. Episode Quantum Creating. I love this topic.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorites.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we're doing it.
Yeah. It's dangerous, though, the process, right?
Yeah.
Because you can do good with it or you can do bad with it,
Yeah.
right?
Some people do bad with it and they don't even realize it.
Yeah.
Also.
Yeah.
So.
But what is quantum creating? Like, what is that? It sounds like
I know. It's
people are like, that's that weird stuff.
Yeah.
It's not true.
Voodoo.
Yeah.
The unknown.
Magic's real.
Magic. Yeah. Even goes as far as some individuals say that it's against humanity. They'll go on record stating that the law of attraction and quantum creating and deliberate creation, we should not be able to do that, or it goes against any kind of thought process that they were given as they were growing up, you know.
What kind of quantum creating, like, what is that to you? Like, what does that mean?
So it's interesting that you use quantum creating, because I never really, up until the past couple of weeks of you talking about it, you know, probably about a month or so now, I always just used to call it law of attraction. So I never called it quantum creating until I started reading that book that you gave me.
Which one?
Supernatural.
Oh, Dr. Joe. Dr.
Yeah.
Joe.
And then it put it into a little bit more perspective, because I first started hearing about the law of attraction, obviously in 2006 when The Secret came out.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I first started diving into it. So it was just called The Secret, Law of Attraction kind of thing. And then I went on to Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And then
it's right over there.
Yeah. It's an amazing book. It's an incredible book. And then the Hickses with the Meditations by Abraham. So there was a lot of times that I was doing it, but never realized the quantum creating, because I was doing it on a sub level and not big picture level, until you started talking about it. And then I kind of really focused on, because my thing is I'm a guy that just does things to work. Like, I'm like, oh, if someone else is doing this, let me try it. And if it works, I keep it. If it doesn't, I don't.
Dude, I'm the same way.
Yeah, but you go into, like, you like to know the, like, logistics of it.
Oh, dude, I want to know everything.
Which is incredible, because now it's opening my eyes to the logistics of things, because for the longest time I've been doing it and haven't been realizing, like, oh wait, this is what I'm doing? Holy shit. I didn't, because I just fool around with stuff and then it works. I write it down and I keep it and I keep doing it. And if it didn't work, I would stop doing it. Mm-hmm. So obviously what I'm doing is working, because I'm a true believer in this. And
dude, when you hit that point where you're like, I believe.
Oh yeah.
It's like, there's no other way of living. You can't go back.
No.
There's no going back at that point.
No, absolutely not. And then the first time,
I just got chills saying
and the first time that I realized that I was living the life that I was creating through visualization, that's when I realized, like, yeah, this isn't bullshit. This really happens. Like, this is a real deal situation. Let's look into this a little bit more. And that's when I started reading a lot more about it. But for going back to your question about quantum, I would say, in my eyes, okay, ultimately, like attracts like, in my simplest terms. And
what does that mean, though?
So yeah, and I was gonna say, and the reason that I say it that way is because you can attract negative in your life. So I say like attracts like, because your thoughts and your patterns bring in the energy of the patterns around them. Because when you vibrate to a specific frequency, okay, when your body is pulsating energy and you raise it,
your body doesn't do that, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Here we go. So when that happens and you start bringing in negativity, okay, you wake up in the morning, you stub your toe. Then the next thing you know, you drop your breakfast on the ground. Then the next thing you know, you burn your tongue on your coffee, because instantly you're like, this is going to happen. Oh, I'm starting a shitty day. I'm having a crappy day. Blah, 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 blah. Your mind starts automatically doing things because it's happened before. So you bring in that negativity from the past because you're not in the present. So then what ends up happening is you're creating, as your day goes on, negativity. So like negativity brings on like negativity. If you're positive and you wake up, both of us, we have gratitude right away in the morning. We start saying what we're thankful for, doing that. We start our day at a gratitude frequency. It moves a lot faster, kind of sets our tone for the day. That's why you see a lot of great people that motivational speakers, individuals, they say, wake up and do gratitude because they know it sets the tone for their day. Especially if you have a really high impact day where you're moving and grooving, you're doing a lot of things, you have a lot of meetings and things like that. Mm-hmm. Well, if you wake up and you open your mind and your heart and you raise your vibration to a gratitude level where you're welcoming these things and you're thankful for the abundance that the universe can give you, it almost creates the space for more. And it just keeps going and going. Right, exactly. Right. So that's why I say, in simplest terms to me, like creates like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you said something about like kicking your foot on the bed or and it's snowballing, right? You know what I found? Like when you kick something.
Yeah.
I usually have a thought right before that I shouldn't have had. That's what I've been noticing.
Oh.
I'll have like a thought and I will kick something and I literally will be like, that's the universe literally telling you not to have that thought. Yeah. And I've seen it with my daughter, the universe doing it to her, where like the other night we were just in bed watching a movie, and I forget what she did, and she asked me for something, and she gave me like a little toot, and then slammed her head back and like hit it on the wall, and I'm like, that's the universe telling you not to act that way. Yeah. But that's what I've noticed is I have like a thought or something, an action that I did right before I kicked it. And then it's just like me just accepting, hey, you shouldn't have had that thought or you shouldn't have made that action, stops it right there. And then there's no snowball effect, right? That's what I've noticed.
It happened to me if I get frustrated at something and you have because I don't use AirPods, I use a cord because AirPods are bad. And if I get like frustrated or something, or like the dog, and I'm trying to get the dog out or get the pig fed, and I'm like rushing. We have gates in our house, so I'll pull my headphones out. That ever happened to you? Your cord's dangling, your headphones pull out, and it happens every time I'm frustrated or I'm like trying to hurry, and I'm like just not in a state of like letting things unfold. I'm trying to make things happen. My anxiety's rushing and all that, and I'll like hit the gate, or I'll pull my my belt loop on the gate, and it'll like stop me. You know what I mean? Because it like pulls me back, and I'm like, "Whoa, okay, calm down, Josh. You're rushing around. You're doing things." So I completely see that. I completely see where little things kind of set the tone.
Yeah, and like quantum creating to me, man, is just it's really tapping into the energy source and understanding that like we're all pure energy and we're nothing until our thoughts create us into something, right? Our brain creates everything, every experience we have around us. So it's really getting outside of reality, quote unquote, of what people think it is.
Yeah.
The sense of, self, that kind of stuff, the sense of just a bunch of different stuff, but it's getting specific and just putting your thoughts out there, kind of like how you said, thought like thoughts create like thoughts.
Yeah.
But it's having fun.
Oh,
it's having fun.
Oh yeah.
Pick the life you want to live. You can choose whatever life. And at any moment you can make a decision to re-choose what you have in your life. It all depends on where you currently are.
Yeah.
But we let's get into some gratitudes.
Yeah. Yeah,
all right.
Absolutely.
You can go first.
Yeah. Yeah. So ultimately, all the time, God and the universe together. I definitely, for me being a Christian, I know a lot of times when I put God first,
Mhm.
a lot of good things happen in my life.
Mhm.
I found that out at a young age. And so I truly, every morning, I thank God, one, for giving me breath, for waking up. Because we just go to bed just expecting to wake up.
Mhm.
Every morning we put a trust in that we are going to actually wake up, because people don't think about that. They just set their alarm or have it set or just lay down, and then they're like, cool, okay, whatever. Well, it's not. You're not guaranteed the next day. So every morning I automatically always just thank God. Thank you. Thank you for another day. Thank you for this life. Then obviously my family, I'm so gracious for them, especially when I'm working and doing so many things around the house and doing all this, like Lauren taking care of the kids while I'm out late at night running, talking with clients and things like this, early mornings when we come in and do this. Like she's so amazing.
She's still sleeping though, dude. She's fine.
Well,
she's probably sprawled out now. Like.
Well, Opal, before I left, Opal had woken up, so I just told her to go lay in bed with her. So they're probably cuddled up today. But yeah, I'm so thankful for and for the kids for teaching me so much patience and understanding. I'm relearning life lessons through my kids' eyes, and it's incredible.
That's powerful.
Oh, it's so powerful. Powerful.
Spending as much time with my daughter alone has been the most powerful thing I could ever go through. Because they will tell you, especially if you allow it, right? Like I was very open to like when we were able to start communicating when she got old enough. It's like, what can I do better? What can I do better for you today? Right? And when I started doing that, like, everything started changing. She started talking, like communicating way better. We were able to kind of work through different things. But yeah, because that's where my gratitude really sits is there. It's God, the universe, dude, the energy source, whatever you want to call it. Things have been crazy, falling apart, falling together. So very grateful for everything that's in the surroundings. This whole setup here that we've been 100%. Able to kind of get into. This is crazy because we've been meditating on this for a while. But let's get into this, dude. So, like I said, I'm grateful for, my daughter, my family, all of this, my family a lot, because they've really helped. What's your weekly wins, man?
Weekly wins? I have been doing very well nutritionally, so that's been helping me a lot lately. Not going to the sweets as much, and it helps. If there's days, okay, that I don't eat right, all right, not only do I feel it in my stomach, but in my mind. Like I start getting sluggish and I start feeling off, It might not happen a day, I might, eat,
you never noticed that before though, right?
No, absolutely.
So what do you think went into noticing that? Because I've had the same, I've had the same, revelation for myself over the last like year. And the only thing I could draw it to is like, you're just becoming more in tune.
That's what I was going to say. That's exactly it. Like ultimately, once I started doing things right and started losing weight and started taking care of myself first so I could take care of others, I did. Like, it's like the fog lifted, and then I could realize like, oh man, when I eat this, I feel kind of poopy. If I eat this, I feel really, really good. Like before I
drink enough water, if I don't drink enough water, water's massive.
Oh my goodness!
And that's all I drink. I drink nothing but water.
I drink
orange juice.
Yeah, I was just about to say I drink orange juice.
Usually just water.
Yeah, orange juice and water are my go-to.
This isn't Fiji, by the way. This is just regular water.
We could have a whole podcast about the water in my house. But it's definitely an awareness that I have now, and that's a huge win for me because I have a very big sweet tooth. Like it doesn't take me. Like,
as far as the sweet tooth, because like that's going to be something like we're going to dive into.
Oh
like,
yeah.
What other wins did you have for the week?
Just spending time with my kids in Odin. For some crazy reason, everything just finally clicked this week with us. That everything my wife and I've been doing with him, learning wise, he's been learned. Like we have like these little boats in the bathtub, and last night I laid him up. Okay, not only did he count them, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, he just said the colors. And like we don't like drill it in him. Yeah, he's 2. He just turned 2 last month. At the end of last month.
Dude, that's massive.
Yeah. But we say it because we talk to him like you and I are talking.
It's like he's not a
we
baby,
don't baby
right?
anything.
He's
we don't
not, like,
we don't call him,
below us.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Like we never ever talk down to our kids and make them feel like they're lower on the totem pole. So just doing that, like handing him, like doing one, like when we put pancakes or something like on his tray, we'll go 1, 2, 3. Well, he never talked. He doesn't really talk too much when his sister's around. So we don't really get that from him. So now we just started learning this week that all that little extra, the little things that we've been doing are true. He's learning it. Like he's doing the colors, he's doing his numbers and
he's
things
just
like that.
a master of just watching
Oh, yeah.
and learning, dude. And that's the most powerful.
Oh,
that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
2 years old
great.
doing that already.
What about you? What about wins?
For me, dude, wins just getting more settled into the new place.
Yeah.
That's been awesome with Leah. We've been it's been the whole podcast, everything kind of falling together. I'd say it's all wins. I've been doing great on eating healthy.
Yep.
The sweets aren't really even a thing for me. Sometimes I have like a piece of candy, but I don't put any negative notations to if I do indulge.
Yeah.
When you put that negative notation to it, that's the thought. The thought is going to trigger a negative effect in the body, as if like you just enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
Enjoy that moment.
I was about to say, if you're in the present.
If you're in the present moment, enjoying that moment, that is nothing but good energy going into your body. Now, don't indulge in on it all the time, but it's like it's that negative notation, that is a negative, fearful effect on the body, and it makes you, you're gaining the weight faster, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's not like, but yeah, so that's been weekly win.
Good.
I've been getting in the creek still.
Yeah.
I was out there. It was like 40 degrees. It was great, dude. It was great. I
love it.
I actually want to get out there later today, dude. If you want to go, but quantum creating, right? So technical term, laws of attraction, manifesting.
Yep.
What are different? Well, let's start here.
Yeah.
Where's your inspiration come from?
So inspiration as in,
or let's get into the techniques, and we can kind of dabble on inspiration where we kind of learned into it. So let's get on techniques. Like, what do you do to quantum create?
Okay. So I write everything down. Okay. So right away, 2 big things is one, I create a journal. I have a journal. So every day I do my gratitude. Then I set my goals up. I do my warrior list, things I want to get done that day. And then in the space, I write, my life as I see it. Okay. So things about like the podcast. Okay. So like this morning before I came here, I got my journal out, I did my thing. And like I wrote already, had an amazing podcast today. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude.
So I write things, in the present moment that I'm feeling. Okay. And then besides that, I do vision boards. Huge proponent on vision boards.
You do like pictures? Or
I do
like,
pictures.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. So I do pictures, and sometimes I do attach like 2 or 3 words to the bottom of the picture, just like, so there's a picture and then I have like a little saying under it. So I used to use an app on my phone that you could put like, it's like 9 pictures, make your board, you could swipe over, make another board so you can like have it the way you want it. Then I realized to myself, I said, you know, I don't like being super tied to technology because I get real addicted to it fast, to technology, using it.
Dude, it's it.
And
that's anything you
yeah,
get to it fast.
Yeah. And so, excuse me. What I thought about was this is my vision. I need to like, let's level this up. So then I started getting like pictures printed out, like nice, clear images printed out, not just
you got real fancy.
I got
like
real
canvas ones like this, dude.
Are you ready for this? Like I have a gold trim, okay? Gold trim.
Oh my gosh, dude.
And it has a glass front. And then it's like nice. The pictures are nice on there. I have about 9
I can't believe you haven't told me this before.
Oh yeah. Dude, that's because like it's like my pride and joy. Like I love it. So and it's cool because I attach my thoughts to the positivity that gives me.
Mm-hmm.
So what ends up happening is like when I start looking at my vision board, look at it twice. I look at it in the morning, okay? I visualize the feelings attached to each of those pictures, how they make me feel. Because to me, I already have it. Okay, so I do it once in the morning and then once before bed. Those are my 2 things. I do a lot of writing, and then I do a lot of my vision boards. In between during the day, when I have a meditation session, I will do a meditation session where I'm in the movie. Like I make a movie of myself, where I don't attach it to the law of attraction or quantum creating at all, because when I go into my meditation, I live the life I'm living in that meditation. So to me,
well, that is like
it is.
That is like what quantum creating is.
And that's the thing. Like I've been doing all these things so often that I never attached them to names. You know what I mean? So like when you and I started talking about it and you were like, oh, I do this. And I'm like, yeah, I do too. And then you like give me like some cool tips about it. And I'm just like, holy shit. Like we're doing the exact same thing, you know, and you know a lot about it because you've read it and researched it.
I got addicted to like, but I'm fine with that. Like,
yeah.
If you get addicted to personal growth and, you know, just learning more about the body and mind, like that's the only addiction that's probably
because you're a doer when it comes to that. Now there's people that have stacks and stacks and stacks of self-help books and books like this. That's because they're addicted to the research, but they're not addicted to the follow through.
Dude, I'm like
get what I'm saying?
I was very blessed to not got into reading until a very late age, dude. I just got into reading when I was like 28. I'm 30 now.
Oh yeah.
And my first book was the Becoming Supernatural.
Such a good book.
Yeah.
Such a good book.
And to have that be the first one for the people that have read it.
Yeah. It's
that
so good.
Blew my mind.
Yeah.
I was like, holy crap. Yeah. And like, I've been into, you know, like growing up, like I was into like psychedelics and stuff like that. Yeah. And like, so you see a different form of reality. And then you start to read about this other reality that's possible, like the Wim Hof stuff where you get into the breathing and you can get into the DMT states.
Yep.
Dude, when you do like 40 minutes of breath work and you're holding your breath for like 3-4 minutes.
Yeah.
That is wild. The feelings that you get, how in touch you get with, you know, your body, feeling your heartbeat in your chest. It's all that stuff. And when you start to get that and you start to learn into that, it blows your mind.
So real quick on that. So my first hardcore Wim Hof session. Okay. So not learning. So I was probably doing it for about a year or so before I really started holding my breath and getting into like deep Wim Hof breathing. The first time that it happened, dude, I'm not joking. I vibrated so hard that I thought there was an earthquake going on. Legit, it scared me because my body like legit started tapping internally. Yeah. Like I felt like, you know how like if you feel like tapping, like if you tap your arm right now and you can feel it on the outside. This was tapping, radiating through my entire body. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I fucking broke something. Like I broke something in my body. What's going on? Like, so Wim Hof breathing is that is awesome. I do still do it. I don't do it enough. I should probably get back into it.
I only do it in do it in the cold showers and then in the
Yep.
cold creeks. I just do it when you need it.
Yeah.
Or I'll like practice it. But I try and do more nose breathing now than anything. Nose breathing is where I'm at. And like my practices are, a mixture of, Dr. Joe, Eckhart Tolle, and then Wim Hof. Those are the three that I mix together. And I try to rotate them, the practices.
Okay.
Because it keeps it, for me personally, it keeps it fresh. And it's not like, oh, I got to get up and do the same meditation that I did the day before. But you also get to a point to where like things start to happen. And then it's like, I have to get up.
Yeah.
I can't not get up. All this shit's been coming true that I've been just writing down, meditating about for 20, 30 minutes a day or random times through the day. And all like things just keep happening.
Yep.
You can't not get excited at that point.
Oh, yeah.
That's the best part.
Oh, yeah.
When like, and the hardest part is the beginning, right? Because you just like, especially if you're fresh to it.
Yeah.
But the beginning is like the best part because the hardest part because you have to get past the like staying in the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the key thing, right?
Yeah. Because there is a lot of lack of that just from people that I just see in my daily life.
Even us.
Yeah.
Everybody's goes through
it gets really hard to truly stay in the present. Now you can be in the present, you could be involved in what's going on, but to actually be in the present field, like where you are dictating all your energy to the present, not worrying anything about the past that brings in depression, anything about the future that brings in anxiety, but truly in the present moment.
I love getting to that point where you where you're like you're in that meditation and you're just everything just goes blank.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's great.
Yeah.
And then when you get to that point to where it happens in real life as you're just driving down the road. Mm-hmm. Right. Like me, like I try not to listen to too much music anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And reasons behind that actually is part of, what I learned from Dr. Joe is like, all the thought processes, right? Everything that's intaken into your brain, any word, your brain doesn't know if it's coming from you right across from me right now, or if it's just something that's a sound.
External,
It doesn't know.
Yeah.
So it takes it as real. Anything you put into your mind is real to your subconscious mind. So you got to be guarded. Mm-hmm. It's like, and it can get crazy at first because when you start watching your mind the first time, you're like, what are these thoughts? How long I've been thinking like that. And we covered that in, the ego, the episode of the ego.
Yep.
But it's, the quantum creating is just such a fun thing. So for me, it's every morning, 15, 20 minutes, I'll do some like stretching, get the body loose, and then I'll go straight into, meditating.
Nice.
But I usually lay in bed for about 15, 20 minutes and I'll like wake up real slowly.
Mm-hmm. With no phone.
Yeah, no phone.
Fuck the phone.
Yeah, no phone. I just wake up and just slowly come awake and then go straight into my routine. I write down, gratitudes. I tried to be overly with gratitude. Yeah. Because I used to not have any type of gratitude at all. Mm-hmm. So now I'm to the point where it's just like, I'm grateful for everything. Just one breath.
Yeah.
Right down to that point. And then once you get into that point, you do the gratitude, then you're getting into the creating part, right? Because where do you create from? You create from your heart, right? Yep. Your heart is the creation center. Mm-hmm. That's where you were created from. That it has its own brain. Mm-hmm. It sends more signals to the brain than the brain does to the heart.
It creates the energy.
It is the creator. Yeah. And when you breathe, right, the breathing technique, which there's a bunch of different breathing techniques, but the idea of the breathing technique is to draw up the energy.
Yep.
Let me as far as like energy centers, where do we live? Where do we live at? What energy centers do we live in?
Like most people, or are you talking about
Like,
us?
just in
I would
general.
say in general, a lot of people's energy's down in like the lower,
Boom, the bottom three.
Yeah, the bottom three.
Right.
Yeah.
So what that is the digestive system, the adrenaline system, and then you have the sex system.
Yep.
All right. So there's a ton of different stuff that holds energy that we use down there.
Yeah.
So the breathing actually draws it up, right? It stretches it out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was playing with my daughter's slime, and I had this revelation. I was like, yo, this is what the breathing does, right? Mm-hmm. So you have the slime's down in a ball, and as you pull it up, right, it starts to stretch out, right? The more you do it, the more you get up in the top part of your hand, right? And then when you're doing the holds, now you're like making it starts to get firmer, right? And then it starts to expand out at the top because it's up there. It's being held up there.
Yeah.
And then, so as you keep doing it, it makes it easier, right? So that's what the breathing does. It draws up that energy and you bring it into your heart, your thoughts, which are frequencies. You're sending that stuff out into the universe.
Yeah.
And then your heart will create a magnetic field.
Yep.
That, they've studied it out to 9 meters wide. Right. And at that point, you're talking, that's drawing it back in, right? That a magnet draws things in.
Yeah.
And so anything that you go into these meditations and you then project out, you'll start to draw it back in, and it starts to program into your mind.
Exactly.
So subconsciously, your habits will bring that situation to you, right? But stuck energy, breathing is a huge part of this to me, right? So stuck energy, right? There's different ways, different types of energy. So you have guilt, you have shame, pain, you have unworthiness, lack, victimization. You have no sex, too much sex, sex anxiety.
Yep.
You have different types of a bunch of different stuff that gets energy stuck there. So that's where losing judgment of self is important. And that's huge. You have to lose judgment of self and others. You cannot judge others without judging yourself, because anything you see in somebody is something you see in yourself. Breathing wise, what do you do breathing wise? Like what is your favorite technique?
Box breathing.
Okay.
So
which draws the energy.
Yeah. So basically, I like 4. Like that's just my magic number. That's how I was taught it, and I loved it. I went to different seconds, like do 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 7 seconds. Just 4 just seems so natural for me in my flow. So I do basically 4 seconds in, then hold for 4 seconds, 4 seconds out, hold for 4 seconds, 4 seconds in, hold for 4 seconds. And I'm not kidding you. There's been times where my anxiety has been through the roof, and
you mean your thoughts are through the roof?
My thoughts and just doing some box breathing, like literally zen me, like completely, like just caught me right out of the moment. So that I use that for everything. I pretty much stick with that. With that method. What about you?
For breathing, I do a little mixture of the Wim Hof, the Dr. Joe's, where you like get in and actually like tense up the muscles, get the intrinsic muscles going, that kind of stuff the whole way up. Which is actually weird because like in the beginning, you're like, I'm not feeling shit. Like I'm not feeling anything. And then all of a sudden, like you start to feel the waves of the fluid going up. And then you're like, holy crap. I remember the one time I was in the woods and I had eaten a brownie, right? And I'm sitting there, I'm standing in these woods and I'm doing this meditation. The sun's coming. I'm in this open random spot. Just sun's coming through the trees. People probably walking behind me like, what's this guy doing? Just staring upwards with his eyes closed. And dude, I get into this meditation and it was crazy how much time had just went past and I didn't even realize it. But I was in like this full body trance and like my body was like shaking. And it was doing it. It felt like when that part happened, like it felt like it was happening for a while.
Oh wow!
And then finally, I was like, dude, sit down. And I sat down. I don't know how long I sat there for, but I like got into this awesome meditation. Started the walking part of it, and ended up like just completely clear mind.
Yeah,
like there was like no thought through it. And then I hit this point on the mountain where it was like, stop. And I stop, and I'm like standing in like the worst spot.
Oh.
And I'm just there with my eyes closed and just standing in. And then all of a sudden, like after a couple of minutes, like I feel like people walking by me. The hardest thing to do is to not open your eyes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was in such a spot where I was just like, nope. Keep your eyes closed. Doesn't matter. Because like instantly you're like, is this person going to kill me, rob me? Like that's like one of their ego popping in.
Yeah.
Like what's about to happen to me? Like, and then you start it again, top of the mountain. Like get to the top of the mountain. Stop for the final one. It says lay down. I'm laying down on these rocks. Not soft ones, dude. These are like, I'm not not in a good spot. I'm just like, all right, well, I got to lay down here. That's what it says. So lay down, 10 minutes later, finish it, take the headphones off. Most peaceful time I spent in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
I jump up on top of this rock, dude. And there's like this hole and this giant vulture bird, dude. Massive. Just
you took a picture. You sent it to me.
Dude.
You sent this to me. Yeah.
Just pops up, flapping his wings, and he just sits there, dude. And I was like, hey, man, like, I'm not, my bad, dude, my bad. And I just like, I sat down and I just watched him.
Mm-hmm.
We sat there and just watched each other for like 15, 20 minutes.
Wow.
And then finally I was just like, I need to try and get closer, right? And I got a little bit closer, hopped on like another rock. Like I didn't hop, but like I just put my foot across. And then when I pushed the other foot, I guess it like spooked him and he like but his wingspan was massive. This was a massive vulture, dude.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was like, but that meditation session, dude, was ridiculous. And I came out of that and had, some very transformative things happen over the next like couple weeks.
Yeah.
And it was especially for like habits and stuff I was trying to project out and things just kind of came together. So it was a pretty sweet experience of like quantum creating for sure. But the breathing part of it is, the Dr. Joe and the Wim Hof stuff.
Yeah.
What are some things you have quantum created?
So I'll tell you the first one, okay, is money. It was the first time that I kind of really.
Is money what you do now, though? Is money what you're doing it for?
Now?
Yeah.
No. Now there's a lot of different things on my board that there's one I have that I want to completely pay off my mortgage for my house.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Faster than your 30-year loan kind of situation. So I do have that one on there. So that's money tied in. But so the first time I literally wrote down on a sheet of paper that I want to make $100,000. And I wrote it down, and I put it under my pillow at night. So it was the first thing I saw when I woke up in the morning, and it was the last thing I saw when I went to bed. Okay. And then it was, I don't know. I can't even explain it. It just happened. It fell into me because I didn't.
How long?
So when
everything's different, right?
Yeah.
It just depends
yeah.
on how big,
Because there's a time gap that we cannot control ourselves. And that's what a lot of people need to understand too. Like this isn't like, hey, I'm gonna imagine myself being this way and it's gonna happen.
Dude, I was the total opposite. Yeah. I was like, I'm making this happen. I am the quantum creator.
Yeah.
Like, I was just total wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
There's a part when I went back and reread Becoming Supernatural, there was a couple parts where I was like, dude, you totally did not follow what you said.
I know. Yeah. I was like thinking that in my head because
you did the opposite of what he was saying. But then I was like, all right, well, now I know what happens when you do it wrong.
Yeah. So let's do it right.
Let's do it right.
I would say it was probably like 4 or 5 months. It was 4 or 5 months because
how long did you write it for?
I did, for some reason, I wrote it 54 times because that number came to me. Mm-hmm. So I wrote literally 54 times, like, I will make $100,000. I will make $100,000, like, over and over again. I probably did it, probably like over 70 days, 80 days straight. And then, I stopped writing it, but kept the last one that I wrote and just kept it under my pillow. So I did it, I'd say probably, let's just say like 75. So I did it for 75 days, and then I just kept it under my pillow. And probably a month of that, I got the phone call to where we started working together.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, and it literally fell into place. Like, I'm not even joking with you. The way I ended my one job and started working at my other job couldn't have happened at a better time. Like, training classes lined up. Like, the recruiter reached out to me. I didn't do anything. Like, it was just everything seriously fell into line to the way of where I actually turned it down at first because I was scared of leaving my last job. I didn't want to take the plunge. You know,
take the leap,
I didn't want to take the leap.
The best leap, though, right?
Yeah. Oh my god.
At the time,
yeah, I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps on my legs right now.
Learned
thinking
so
about
much
it.
there, dude. So much.
And I turned them down, and then I called a week later. I called back and I was like, "Hey, if that job's still opening," and they hired somebody else. And they said, "All right, well, if you can wait 2 weeks, the normal time to tell somebody else you're not going to work for them anymore, then we're going to have another training class. It'll be just you, and then we'll get you spun up." Literally, I was like, "Okay, I'll take it." Done deal. So that was my first experience with it, and then ever since, I kind of been doing it a little bit different now. Like we said before, I don't do the writing as much anymore because I'm writing every day of the life that I'm creating, instead of doing like snippets, like sentences, you know, or like asking for one thing. I put out there the life I want to live, instead of like one tidbit of the life.
You got to be specific.
I'm very
super specific.
I'm very specific.
You got to break down everything. Like,
yeah. Because like I said before, I was like, "Oh, I just want to make $100,000." Now it's like there was a point where that kept increasing because of how I was writing and doing my visualization, where that slowly went to 200, and then it went to 300, and now I'm just like, holy fuck, like, am I unstoppable?
Exactly.
So ultimately that's kind of how I got into it, and that was one of my biggest manifestations, where I realized, like, okay, like there's something real going on here. So what about you?
For me, it would be, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. It started with more of like just creating the person I wanted to be.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. It was coming to the realization of, like, I had all these different personalities and stuff that like weren't me, that were like on top of me, from like programming through like, the years, different habits that were formed that weren't necessarily who I was or who I wanted to be. And I never really knew like why. Right. So I always did these things, and like, you repeat things, right? But it's like, you got to find out why, like, why do I have these habits? So for me, like, getting into the quantum creating, I first had to completely just, shed skin, kind of like a snake, dude, one piece, and get into the reprogramming. So now it's like, then you get into, what future do you want, and what does that person need to be?
Yeah.
So then once you figure out, what you find the person that looks like, right? What do they do? What are their habits? Then you get into that reprogramming of it. For me, though, health has been a big one as well. Yeah. Losing weight. Lost like 50 pounds in like 7 months.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Just breathing, meditating, cold exposure. I wouldn't say I was eating the healthiest. I'm eating way healthier than what I was. Like, I am eating way healthier now than what I was then. But the weight just started falling. And I think that was a lot of stuck energy too, of, things that, I was holding inside. Yeah. And just living in that survival center for too long. That's stuck energy down there. And business, the bath business, that was everything, dude. Yeah. I remember needed leads. I was just like,
I remember you telling me about that. Yeah.
I was writing on the board, one lead. I just need one. Yeah. Give me one lead. Yeah. Took a month. And at that point, I was just like, I had a real good switch in thought processes, because in the beginning I was like, oh shit,
Yeah.
I don't have any leads.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like, we're getting months into, we're getting a month into it. And I'm like, then finally I just like calm myself. I was like, you know what? Take this time. You don't have installs going in. You don't have leads. Take this time. And, I just went into the woods a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that for like 6 months at one point. It was literally 6 months of me just mindset.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I worked on. I went through a bunch of savings. I had the right situation in living. And I worked on nothing but the mind. And that probably has been the most beneficial thing I ever did.
That's awesome.
Because it gave me so much time to create, right? I had so much free space and I was in nature all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was collecting that energy from nature. And then I was just able to, I was sitting on mountains just projecting, just kept on projecting, dude.
Yeah.
And just enjoyed the moment. And then when I finally was like, I surrendered to not having any leads, boom, there came that lead.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I needed a sale. Boom. Write down one sale, right? Wrote that down. Needed an ops building. Wrote that down.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're sitting in right now, which
Yeah.
then extended out into this podcast.
Yeah.
And then also, I've been able to turn it into an apartment as well too.
Yep.
Needed installers. Wrote down, need 2 great installers. I've got 2 of the best guys.
Yeah.
These guys are awesome.
Yeah.
One of them being the son of the guy that owns the building that, I got into ops. Things just started
Coming together.
dude.
Yeah.
Just magnetic pull into what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But it was getting past the ego and the worry of how is it going to happen? The details, right?
Yeah.
What if I don't get a lead? What if I don't make a sale? What if I don't get installers? And, I have all these jobs lined up. So it's getting past that. That is the big key. And just right now, present moment, what are you doing in this moment to farther where you want to go?
Yeah.
How to overcome the ego. I do it through breathing and meditation. Anything I will ever give people advice on.
Yeah.
And they probably will, like, people around me have gotten annoyed. That's why I don't really hang out with friends anymore. And it's not, I'm not like projecting at you, but like if you bring something up that you have an issue, I will always say breathing, meditation, and cold exposure, because that's what worked for me.
Yes.
I've been a person of like deep depressions and crazy anxieties. My thoughts are always going. They go crazy. If it's not on something like a passion or something, it can go out to anywhere.
Yes.
And it runs and it runs.
Agree.
So now I feed it passions and I feed it things to where that's what I am now. Right.
Yeah.
But like people were like, why do you always talk about it? Because that's the only thing I have found that has worked to get out of depressions, to get out of anxiety states or thought process states, like negative thinking, suicidal things.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is what has worked.
Yeah.
No doctor worked for me. No therapist worked for me. The therapist that I worked with actually was not good. Like when I went through the suicidal thing in the military, they did nothing.
Yeah.
They just let me skate. And like a couple weeks later, I was out doing the same thing I was before, drinking, having a drinking problem. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the only thing that has ever worked. Breathing, meditating, cold exposure, dude.
Yeah.
It's that easy. And that's where I'm going to stick my lane at when I get into coaching. It's going to be right there, dude.
I wouldn't say it's that easy. It's that simple.
It's that simple. Yeah, it's not easy.
Because I'm going to tell you right now,
like hard.
Yeah, when I first started cold exposure, it sucked. That was hard. When I first started breathing, because I've never really been a mouth breather per se, like truly mouth breather, but I was very, very shoulder oriented, always breathing with my chest. I was ever really
gotta get that belly going.
And then when I started, I wasn't even doing my belly breathing right because I was just kind of pushing with my belly and wasn't actually letting the air go in and expanding my chest, expanding my ribs, and actually breathing and bringing it. So like it took me a while. It took me over a year to really get into deep breathing where it actually helped set me in the mood and set the tone for everything we do now. There's one thing I wanted to touch on real quick. I wrote it down about your passions helping calm the mind. That's something that really has helped me with anxiety, is focusing on better things, because I was at the time focusing on the future, so it was bringing anxieties in about things. When I actually started being in the present and letting my passion work be the front when I was in that moment, then I start realizing, well, I sit down and I go to meditate, or I go to write down, and it's kind of like, holy fuck, I've been in a really good mood this last week. Like, I haven't really had any panic thoughts. I haven't really been, having depression. What the fuck? Like, what's going on here? And then that's why I had to write that down and touch on it, because that's something that I feel like some people do have an issue with, is they worry too much because they're not passionate about anything and they're not drawing in anything.
It's the fears, dude. It's fears.
Yeah.
It's lack of it. It's lack of, it's more, it comes down to lack of guidance.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Not everybody is born with strong ambitions.
No.
Or it's not even born, because it literally has to be, it's taught into you.
Yeah.
Your ambition is taught into you.
Yeah.
If you have ambition, your parents probably had a little bit of ambition.
Yeah.
Right. But if you don't, it doesn't mean you can't change it into ambition.
Exactly.
And that's where the learning the mind and the reprogramming is key into the quantum creating, because you can't create the future you want if you can't create the person that belongs into that future.
Yes,
right?
exactly. It literally blocks. There's literally, if you can't be in the present, I'm sorry to say you will have a very, very hard time with attracting what you want.
But it's not even about just like being in the present, because you can't. Part of the process is literally to create your subconscious mind in a certain way where that is helping with drawing in that particular future. So it's the present moment is very key, but you cannot be present if you do not create the habits, right? Create the personality traits.
Yeah.
And you have to do that through the reprogramming of the mind and understanding it. And you touched on earlier, how, it's about getting into the nitty gritty details on why, right? And the reason you need to know why on everything, why you're doing this, why each step is important, it's kind of like the wine tasting effect, right? Like, people that drink wine, they have a different experience than someone that just drinks it like every now and then, right?
Yeah.
Because what they're doing is they're getting into that present moment, and they're experiencing the smells and the tastes. They're getting a deeper connection with it, and that knowing why you're smelling it, right? Knowing what you're tasting, right? Those two things just make it a better experience, because now, like, when you sip on it, you can taste some raspberries, right? Or you can taste some different things. And I didn't drink wine until like within like the last year, and my buddy Jimmy got me into it, dude. That's like I will sip on a glass of wine for like an hour and have like the greatest experience with just like staying. That's a way of practicing presence, right? In the quantum creating realm of things, right? The biggest thing for people is lack of creativity. They're scared to be too creative. You have to be so fucking creative. You got to dream big.
Yeah.
Just because you write it down doesn't mean like that's imprinted that's the only option.
Yeah.
It's putting such a big dream out there and just trying to snip a little bit off each day, right? It's just get a little bit closer to it. But people are scared to be creative or take the leap because of fear of what the ego puts into your mind. And I know for me personally, once you get past that, right? Once I got past that, everything just works. It flows. The universe is just, you can feel it. You get the chills running up and down your spine. And those experiences then create a more greater experience in your mind and greater want to believe in it. So just knowing each little itty bitty step, every little itty bitty step is key to the experience of it, right? And that's what makes the meditations get to a greater level, or the breathing sessions get to a greater level. And then your energy's at a greater level, magnetic fields at a greater level. And then you're drawing more in, right? So this is one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
Is to quantum create.
Yeah.
Let's get into, some final inspiration.
Yeah. So I know you're big into Eckhart Tolle, and it's interesting that a quote popped up last night. You and I were texting.
Oh, is that the one I sent you?
No,
or is it a different one?
It's a different one.
Okay.
It's by Eckhart. Okay. And it just really, like, I'm getting goosebumps even thinking about it. It's just an amazing quote. And I just wanted to say it while we were on here.
Yeah.
Because it's very, very good. All negativity is caused by an accumulation of psychological time and denial of the present. Unease, anxiety, tension, stress, worry, all forms of fear are caused by too much future and not enough presence. Guilt, regret, resentment, grievances, sadness, bitterness, and all forms of non-forgiveness are caused by too much past and not enough presence. I was like, and that's by Eckhart Tolle. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're about to do this podcast tomorrow morning. I just got off the phone with Tyler. This just popped up on my phone. I was like, are you kidding me right now? So I was like, I have to read.
Is that the universe speaking, dude?
And 100%.
You weirdo, dude.
But I had to say that because it was just how everything came about. It was just so. It was literally like it was speaking to me. But yeah. So final thoughts. Definitely, I'm super thankful that you are wired the way you are, because you help me understand, law of attraction on such a deeper level that I honestly can say that it's kind of leveled up my way of doing things in a sense where,
don't thank me, dude. Thank Dr. Joe. Thank the universe, because the universe speaks through them. It speaks through us. Like this is not even us speaking right now. Like this is the universe speaking through us to just try and help anyway as far as like getting over any type of negativity, thought processes, just building people, right? Transformation, right? That's what we're here to do, is just help guide people.
Oh yeah,
because it can be a scary thing.
Exactly.
Quantum creating, though, I've said this multiple times. This is one of my favorite things to do. Inspiration for it.
Mm-hmm.
Just dream big and have fun with it.
Yeah.
Dream any life you want, any relationship you want, any family relationship you want, any job you want, any friendship that you want, any experiences that you want. Just go big for it. And live for yourself. Don't live for other people. Don't sacrifice yourself for everybody else. Get very specific. Read it every single day. Live it. Feel it. Love it. Be grateful for it before it ever even happens. And then when it happens, just smile and remember that you felt it before it ever happened, and then feel that experience, and then go create something more, and just keep resetting, keep refinding new things to create, because it's like anything else. The more you do it, the easier it is. Thank you guys. We greatly appreciate you for watching.
100%.
Please like, share, subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
We love you guys. We send out our love to anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you guys have anything to recommend, leave it in the comments.
Yes. Yeah. Please comment. If you have any questions, concerns, guide, anything, just please reach out to us. We love hearing from everybody. every single day I get tons and tons of messages in my inbox from different things, asking different questions, all that. I love it. It's what brings me joy. It's what brings me passion. It's what keeps my vibration high. I love helping everyone. So please do not hesitate to reach out to us. And obviously like, share, subscribe to our channel, and just yeah.
And if you live in the central Pennsylvania area, we want to have normal people in here too, right? We don't want to have people that are just like they're super successful, they have everything perfect. Like, we want to have people that have real life struggles as well on here, and talk to them and get more open in general. And I'm sure we'll get into some stuff that's like more on the emotional side, which just showing more vulnerability. That's a big thing we want to spread as well too. But yeah, if you want to be on the show, just message us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll get a good time. But thank you for listening, and hopefully everyone has an amazing day.
Checkmate, bro.
Take care, everybody.